Hey, welcome to Ken's Corner, and I want to say thank you very much. We actually passed 100 subscribers. That might not sound a lot compared to other sites and stuff, but we are growing. Okay, I just want to reach out and thank every one of my 100 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot to me. So just wanted to reach out to you and say, hey, thank you. Oh, my hair looks good. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe we need to find a hat or something. Hang on. Hey, welcome back to Ken's Corner. Glad for you to be here. There we go. Stick it out. Man, the weather has changed for the great. It wasn't but, what, a few weeks ago, we had sub-zero temperatures, blowing, 6 inches of snow. Power outage, you name it, was happening around here in Oklahoma. So, but amazing. In 2 weeks, we are sitting in the garage with the door open. I think one of my last videos I posted, you actually see me here in the shop freezing. Shop temperature around 40 in here. Outside was just cold. But guess what? That's all gone now. We're getting very more spring-like around here. If you've been following me on Instagram, you probably see what my other projects I've been working on, especially over by the house and stuff. What's getting ready to happen over there. But today in this episode, what we're going to be doing, we are actually going to be working on the car. That's right. Okay. And guess what? Tomorrow is test and tune for us. That's the first time we're going to have the car out with these new heads on, these PRC heads we got from Texas Speed. So anyway, one of the projects that I wanted to get done here today and try to figure out is this. Okay. Like I said, Instagram showed what we're getting ready to do. Okay. So we need to follow that. But anyway, we did get the battery in, but we had one issue with it. Okay, when we got the battery delivered, we got it delivered last night around 7 o'clock. The door came, knocked, and UPS guy. Anyway, just went out to the porch, picked it up, set there inside the house. Didn't think anything of it, and came in cracked. Right at the very bottom, some of the fluid leaked out. And these are sealed batteries. You can't replace the fluid in them or anything. They're sealed, they're pressurized, and they're not supposed to leak at all. So the battery's pretty much toast. It probably won't last that long. So, but anyway, I'm going to use it to mock things up today, see how it fits in the battery, in the back, and all that good stuff, and go from there. So, have something else I need to do with this as well, and I'll explain that here in just a second. Okay, with 16-volt systems, you can run the majority of your stuff in your car. The electronics, you can run the MSD box and all that stuff. There's certain things that you can run 16 volts and will have no problem whatsoever. Some of the things you might not want to run at 16 volts, you probably run them at a little bit less voltage, like the headlights or the other not sensitive electronics and stuff. And what I actually went out and bought, I bought a reducer. So it reduced the input voltage, whatever we have, the input voltage down to 12 volts. So some of that stuff like the gauge lights, I don't think I want to run those at 16. I'll put those at 12 volts. Any of the lights, interior lights, tail lights, headlights, I'm going to go ahead and reduce those down to 12 volts. So I think it'd be safer because I heard they've run those at higher voltage, extended length of time. Those eventually burn out. So I don't want to be replacing bulbs, or for Pete's sake, even the gauge lights. I don't want to replace those bulbs every so often. So I'd rather just reduce the voltage and be happier with it. So going to give our whirl and see what happens with that. So I've got that. I had a little device I need to install that. I got some wiring I need to install. I need to divide up my circuitry between the 16 volt side and the 12 volt side. So I got some rewiring to do with that. And I got some another box to help me divide up the circuitry with that. So I got a lot of rewiring to do to get all this stuff wired up. And all that hopefully by tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. And there's my phone goes again. It's amazing. But anyway, got to get started with that. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, what we have here is a DC to DC converter. Basically, it's going to take an input. It says 24 volts, but you'll be able to take a higher voltage than what your output is, okay? So basically, you take your input here off the 16 volts and an output to a 12 volt here. What I'm going to do is kind of test that theory, make sure that works. I'm going to connect the terminals up here and plug it in and see if I get my 12 volts out here. So can't wait to see it. Okay, I'm getting ready to do, so I don't get electrocuted here. Okay, that's 12 volts out, as you can see there. So 16 volts in, 12 volts out. So I think this converter is going to work just fine. Okay, we're in the back here of the car. We had to get this place where when you get it mounted, it's going to be a heat sink on it. So I want to mount it on something pretty good solid, if you will. So I mounted it here in the back, and what makes this kind of a little bit easier, maybe, we're going to have the 12 volt or the 16 volts coming in here. Okay, the kicker is the 16 volts going to have to be on the switch side. So when I turn off the power, there's no more voltage going to here, no more voltage going to the car. So my battery cutoff is right back here. So I'll be able to attach this guy on the output of that switch, so to speak. So when we turn the power off, it kills this. Then I'll have another wire. This is specific dedicated 12 volt going all the way up toward the front of the car. So so I'll have a specific 12 volt wire that will carry the current and all that from that part of it. So hopefully that makes somewhat sense and stuff like this. It has two grounds. I'm not too sure what the difference between DC and DC, DC 12 volts and DC 16 volt ground, but I am going to go ahead and run a dedicated voltage or a dedicated ground over to the battery side of it and stuff. That's still my old 12 volt battery in there. I don't have the 16 volt in there yet. Anyway, so I'm going to tie that in. And this ground, I might go ahead and run that thing all the way up toward the front as well and run it with this guy. So I'll carry my grounds all the way up to the front where most electronics are actually sit at. So hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, we just kind of chug along here and get all this thing nicely cleaned up and stuff. Then we'll start running the wire up there. Then we'll start dividing up the circuitry up there. So anyway, more to come. Okay, kind of get you up to date what I got done today on the car. Okay, the first thing I had to get installed was the low converter box. You know, from 16 volts to 12 volts, that low converter box. I got that all taken care of. Let's see if I can. There we go. And what I did, I put it right down there. Installed it. Whoop, there we go. So I installed it right there. So I'm going to hold down with 2 screws. So I think that should be good. So that's all there. Ran all the wiring on up to the front there. Well, that was interesting. Things are falling apart in here. It might have been my helmet. I don't know. That was strange. Anyway, so we got the so we got all the wiring. Go ahead and tape it up, make it look a little bit nicer. Still need somewhat secured in place here just so it doesn't flop around here like this. But anyway, it actually runs up to another box up there. Let me go grab a flashlight real quick. It actually goes up to another box right here. This guy right here, you can see it. That's where all my 12 volts comes in, and all the wires that's connected there goes to my 12 volt, accessories and stuff like my in the gauge lights, the outside lights, all that good stuff. Okay, this guy here is my 16 volt side, so that's tied to the starter, the ignition, and all that good stuff. I think the water pump too. But the fans I'm running through here, the 16 volt is for the water pump. So anyway, but right now, that 16 volt battery I got, it came in cracked. So what we're doing, and this is something we can always think about at the track, I'm running a jumper wire from my 16 volt side to my 12 volt side. And the reason why I'm doing that is I got the 12 volt battery back in it. So I can't run my 16 volt. So advantage of that is that in case we get to the track and we have issues with the 16 volt battery, I can always throw a 12 volt on there, put that jumper wire in there, then I can have everything back to 12 volts. So the reason being is that little box back there, the little converter box, goes from the step down DC voltage. It does not step down from 12 volts down to 12 volts. It will not work. I tried it and does not work. So that's why I put a little jumper up there, and the car is really happy now. So I'm back on the 12 volt system. Still got the alternator on the front. I did not take that off. There's my phone again. See, like each time I take a video, the phone goes off. But anyway, I have, like I said, got the 12 volt starter or alternator still on. So we're good with that. And that might be something I'll bring in the trailer with me. You never know, we might have to put it back on in case we have a problem 16 volt system, but you never know. When we go out of town, you want to kind of be prepared for anything that's possible. So anyway, so with that, all we have to do next, we're gonna have to take off the gas carburetor and put the alcohol carburetor back on. And guess what? We're ready to do some testing. So anyway, until tomorrow, we're gonna go get some testing done. I'll hopefully have some good footage from the track, some video from the track, and hopefully I'll be really pleased with the results. Don't forget, brand new PRC heads from Texas Speed on here. So with that, can't wait for tomorrow. Hey, this pretty much concludes the preparing the car, get ready for a test and tune. Oops. Get the car ready for test and tune and all that good stuff. So with that, stay tuned to the next video, because that's our test and tune video coming up. But for this project, getting the 16 volt battery in, the AC or the DC to DC converter, showed you how they did all that, how it's all wired up, all that good stuff, and we should be good to go for test and tune for Saturday. So with that, if you do like what you see, go ahead and hit subscribe button and hit that like button to let me know that you like this video. As well, if you have any comments, just leave it down in the comment section. Sure do appreciate it. Until next time.